Culture Radio is here.
We're opening. It's a big bang for Culture Radio.
We feel great. We feel awesome.
Great.
Excited.
And with so much happy.
Culture Radio is going to be different from any other radio station they've listened to. There'll be music from 1949 up to 1980.
We've been telling people Culture Radio is coming on board, and it's been a while and people have been doubting us. I'm encouraging everyone to tune into the session just to get a feel what radio is all about.
Expect the best.
The very best.
Awesome and, of course,
something
spicy and saucy.
Culture Radio opening is a good thing happening through the copper belt to give the very best to the people.
Very good. Stay tuned and you can catch us on 105.7.
Tell other people about Culture Radio, tune to our news, tune to our programs.
A culture of good radio.
To advertise, call 0979-860976 or come through to plot number 5435 Tweetcourt Close, Riverside in Kitwe. A culture of good radio.
Culture Radio is public interest driven, focusing editorial attention on sectors that have a direct impact on their lives: health, education, agriculture, water, environment, energy, arts, culture, religion, justice, security, and of course, the number one story on the copper belt, mining. Culture Radio is here for you. We are a culture of good radio.
Hello and welcome to this program. On today's program, we'll be discussing the challenges that female journalists in Zambia face. I am flanked by two journalists, Justina Matandiko of Radio Ichengelo and Tamara Kambole from Radio Chimwemwe in Ndola. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We're delighted to be here.
And my name is Boyd KAIMBI CHIBALE. Now, for a very long time, society believes that certain jobs are primarily for men, and journalism is one of them. And you guys are journalists. Let me begin by, first of all, finding out what really inspired you to get into journalism. Let me start with you, Justina.
I think what inspired me is really the stereotype that comes with the job. Because I remember approaching my mom and saying, okay, initially I wanted to study something else.
What
and
did you want to study?
I wanted to study special education.
Okay.
And my mom wouldn't pay for it because she was a teacher by profession, and then teachers weren't as dignified as they are now. So she said, I won't pay. And then I said, okay, journalism.
That she wouldn't pay for your studies.
She wouldn't pay if I was going to study special education.
Mm-hmm.
So I said journalism, and then she said, no, journalists never get married.
Okay, she didn't want teaching.
Yes, and she didn't want journalism.
Because journalists don't get
because
married.
journalists don't get married. And, because there was so much resistance. Like, I received phone calls left, right, and center, and I said, no, this is the course for me. And I went ahead.
And I know you're married.
Yes.
So what does she say about that?
I think she wouldn't have an opinion now because maybe it's an issue of lack of understanding for me, and the fact that you would want to group things together that because that person isn't married, so the entire profession is like that.
Okay.
That is my thought.
I see. Tamara, what made you get into journalism?
Actually, my scenario is the opposite of Justina. I wanted to do another profession, but my family always said, being a last born where I come from, they always told me, you always like to report things. And when the family has like issues, I'll be the one to take cameras. I'll be the one to say what somebody said. I'll be the secretary. So they said, you know what, just do journalism. You will do better in journalism because these things come naturally for you. So I think I got in and it interested me.
And none of your family members thought journalists don't get married?
And no, they actually didn't think that way. If they did, they didn't mention it to me.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, let's get to the actual profession that you're in now. A lot of people still look at journalism as a profession that does not pay very well. What is your opinion about that?
It is a profession that doesn't pay very well. It is a profession that requires you to earn, to continuously prove yourself. Mm-hmm. That is my thought. But then, it's other professions also don't pay well. But journalists of nowadays have to be innovative. If your pay is not as good, consider writing for a newspaper, freelancing. and then you can get the extra money. So it's really, for me, it's really about the passion that comes with the job rather than the pay that comes with the job.
Do you share these sentiments, Tamara?
I do, exactly. I think journalism these days doesn't pay well. And what you have to do for you to earn an extra income, you have to do something extra aside from journalism. Justina herself here is an example of somebody that does, things here and there outside of this journalism profession
Justina,
to make
would you like
earnings.
to share what you do?
Yes. yes, I would like to. let Tamara complete her thought, and then I would like
Okay,
to.
so like I was saying, I think you have to invest more in the profession, and with the passion that it comes with, you'll be able to do, other freelance activities. And of course, there are people that just want to say, help me write a press statement, I'll pay you for that. You get money out of that. Help me develop a communication strategy. You'll be able to actually, do that for them and get an extra income. So I think depending on the salary, no, you can't make it.
So, Justina, you're doing something by the side,
Yes.
and it's giving you extra income. Doesn't that disturb your journalism?
No, it does not disturb my journalism, because let me just share a practical example. I actually use my journalism skills to enhance my business. I learned about social media and social media management through my journalism job. And I do pastries on the side. And so I'm able to come up with brochures and whatnot, information, attractive adverts. Okay, and this is something that I learned through my job as a journalist. So it's actually complementing my work. Yes.
Interesting. There's another notion that journalists, especially female journalists, are associated with promiscuity. I know this is a very, very difficult subject to
It
discuss,
is.
but this is word on the street. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, people have got ideas, preconceived ideas, and these ideas are not coming from without. It's because they've seen it happen 2-3 times, and then they're letting those ideas just get crowded in everything that they're saying. But I wouldn't say the entire profession should be tagged with that, because I think we've met a few other professions, they're teachers, they're nurses, that can be tagged like that, but it's not the entire profession. So I wouldn't say that is true. No, it's not entirely true. Maybe, you would have met 1 or 2 people that behave in that way, but that doesn't mean that the entire journalism is rotten.
Yeah, I also share the sentiments that Tamara has mentioned, because it's like because of one particular person's attitude, and these are issues of morality. You can't tag issues of morality to a profession and say, okay, so it's all the female journalists who are into such behavior. This is an issue of morality.
And upbringing.
Yes, and upbringing. So
Because the character that you are with shows where you are coming from, like what your family traits are, the characteristics that people can find in your family and things like that.
yes.
Anyway, it's a debatable subject,
It is.
right? And and this notion probably could be relative. I mean, yeah, one man's cup of tea is definitely another man's cup of poison. Guys, you are young and very ambitious from what I can see from the time we started this discussion. One of the biggest challenges again that journalists face, especially young journalists like yourselves, is something to do with sources who are powerful, sources with money, sources with power, sources with influence. What is your reaction to this notion that power that is exerted on you by people of influence, and in this case I mean men, distorts or disturbs your standing as journalists?
I think again it's linking to the issue of promiscuity. It is a matter of your standards and also a matter of morality. I mean, yes, you are a member of parliament. I'm a journalist, and my duty is to get that information that you have and share it. Nothing beyond that. And if I say no, it should be no. My no should mean no. So it's a matter of character. It's a matter of standing. Yes, you have the power. But I mean, should I bend because you have that power? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think yes, you do have the power, but not the power over me as a human being, not the power over me as Tamara, not the power over me as a journalist. You have the power where you are coming from, the position that you are holding, not over me as a human being. And I think, like Justina said it, character plays a very big role when it comes to this. I think we need to understand that it's not every female journalist out there that wants information in exchange for something else, and it's not everyone out there, it's not every female journalist that's going to behave in the same way. I think I've had my own share of experience, especially the time that I just started the reporting, going in the field, and of course being exposed to these men of influence, like you said. But of course it's because I know where I'm coming from, and I know exactly why I get up 8 in the morning to go and work. So it doesn't have to be anything difficult for me to do, because I am focused and I know exactly what I want to achieve at the end of the day.
Okay, so sorry, boy, before you chip in. I think for me, I'd rather lose you as my source of information and remain with my dignity and my standing on issues than compromise on my standards because you have the power, and then you want to exert that power on me. No, I'd rather just, okay, fine, I'll stop reporting about you. I'll stop getting information from you because of the way you want to treat me. So that's something that I can't compromise.
Let's get personal. Have you guys encountered such a situation before, like on a personal?
Yes.
Could you give an example? Are you willing to?
Again, I'm not going to mention names,
yes,
but
no mention.
Okay, great.
No names to be mentioned.
Okay, so some leader of a very big union. Okay, that's actually a leader of unions. Tried to, oh my God, I don't even know. I'm looking for a modest term to use. Exert their power over me, and by then I had just started in my field of journalism and sent from the Copper Belt to Lusaka. So this person thought, oh, maybe Wakopala, and then she's a little not maybe timid and out of touch with the happenings in Lusaka. But then I was like, I'm going to embarrass you if you continue with this conversation. And that's how it ended. And I was literally blacklisted.
Okay.
Yes.
As in
they'll be like, oh, we have an event and we need you to send a reporter. And then I'm the reporter that discusses issues to do with mining and unions. Obviously, that's my bit. Okay, we'll send Justina. They'll be like, no, can you send somebody else?
Wow. Did you share this with your editor? Anyone, in the anyone who manages you?
That's actually the challenge that is there, Boyd. Issues to do with a network of support. Because how would you share this with your editor when you face the same challenge in the newsroom? You see how difficult that is?
Wow.
How would you share this with your supervisor when maybe if there was somebody who holds a higher position and is female, it would be easy, but there's no progression in the newsroom for women generally, and there's no support. There's no sexual harassment policy. There's no laid down guidelines like, okay, if this and this happens to you, you have to do this and this and this. There's nothing like that. So you just keep to self or share with a friend, and it ends there. So it doesn't go anywhere.
Tamara, Justina brings out a very emotional example here. Do you relate?
I do relate, just on the part of her being, pursued in that way, because I had my own share of experience when I was just starting in. I had, a minister that I would get information from, and because we were from the same town, it was easy for me to always call in and ask, but then he had to take it, a little bit further. So I just told him point blank to say, if we're going to work, we're going to work in this way. But in terms of support, I think I receive a lot of support from the station, and especially the newsroom. We have a system in place that protects us, and immediately I shared that with my immediate supervisor. I actually advise that a male journalist will actually be going to that particular minister instead of me. So I think the protection is there.
Mm-hmm. How vulnerable do you guys feel? I know that you have spoken from experience, and you have both said that these things happened to you when you were just starting out. But now that you have had a number of years of experience in the field, how vulnerable do you still feel when you go out in the field?
For me, really, I can stand on my own. I don't even need the protection from the office. At this point, I think even if something like that happened, I would deal with it myself and I would still stand firm. I feel I am rooted at this point. I have the information of where and how I can report these things. And I also know the value that is attached to my own dignity and my profession. So I think I can stand on my own at this point. Not that I wouldn't involve them, but I feel a little bit, safer and a little bit more firm than I started. Because when I started, I was feeling, what if I lose my job? This is the way that things are done. But now I know how things should be done.
I think when you've mastered the art and you have enough courage, it's easy to deal with certain situations. But I still feel that media institutions need to go a step further and have a policy, a guiding policy. I was a young journalist, a rookie then, but what about those that are coming behind me? There's still no standard procedure to follow. Then what happens in that? So I still feel something needs to be done.
Let's move a step further. What other challenges do you think female journalists in Zambia face?
I did mention the issue of underrepresentation. It is a big challenge. It is a very big challenge. Even when it comes to issues of career progression, you would see that men would have the support. Two candidates would be placed, a female and a male. They would rather choose a male because they look at so many things that come with females. Just a practical example of you're married, you have children, and you have to go on maternity leave. And they're like, so if we choose a guy, they'll be present. Mm-hmm. So there are so many gender stereotypes and whatnot. It's heartbreaking. Really.
I can understand. But you don't feel that the environment is equal for both male and female journalists?
Oh no.
Yeah. You feel male journalists are treated far much better
yes.
than females?
Yes. The environment is not equal. If you work at an institution where they even at least have equal pay, it's a great thing for you. The fact that you and other male colleagues are getting paid the same amount for the same kind of job, that's very good. If you are giving equal opportunities to progress in your career, then you should count yourself very lucky, because very few media institutions still do that. And then they are calling this a modern world, but things that we used to see in the past happening are still happening. So, no equality, no.
Tamara, do you feel the space is okay for both male and female journalists?
I think like everywhere else, the male journalists are more favored than the females. I think they have a notion that males do more and females are kind of relaxed and laid back. And in most institutions, like Justina said, you find that even the males get paid even higher than the females, because you will find a situation where you will be told to say, because he's a man, he works harder than you do, because you go on leave. And there's one time where an example of Mother's Day was actually given to say, why should I pay you more when you actually even have one day of going out for no reason and I can't ask you? But this guy works from day one to day last without any other extra day. So you find that even when you're the one who's bringing in more, if it's the newsroom, you're doing all the stories, you're doing what and what, you'll not be recognized because you're female. And they would rather recognize a man because they feel even if he brings 2 stories in a day, he's better than you who brings stories every day. So I think even pay and promotions, they come just biased on men.
But you guys are holding senior positions in your media houses, right? What Tamara is nodding her head, meaning yes.
Tamara, yes. But for me, no.
Tamara, what are you?
Well, I'm a programs officer.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
at Radio Chimwemwe.
That's a big job.
I started in as a reporter. Like I told you, I think I'm privileged to work for a radio station that's very considerate. And, from the protection, and of course, they recognize hard work when they see it. So I started in as a reporter, but then I was taken to the producer role. But now I'm a programs officer there.
Okay.
So I'm grateful for that environment.
And Justina, what are you?
I work in the newsroom as a reporter at other events. Other events simply means you go an extra mile, like continuity announcing and adverts production, program production.
Okay, those are big responsibilities that you both carry. Now, if you were given an opportunity to speak to young girls about journalism, would you encourage them to join?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Why? You have just laid down
the awful thing.
Tell me a profession that does not have challenges. Bring it on the table. Then we can discourage them.
Yes, yes, there are so many challenges, but oh my God, the joy that comes with when I started out seeing your name on the headlines. Oh my God, the joy that comes with people saying, "Oh, we saw you on TV, or we heard you on radio." The joy that comes with telling a story and somebody says, "Watotela sana, fidia mwala ndirepo." The outcome is this: we have received the help. I mean, that is way past all the challenges that we face. For me.
Okay. And for you,
It's the
Tamara?
same. It's the same even for me. I think the satisfaction that comes with somebody calling you and saying, I know the issue that we brought to you and you aired it. We've been actually, it has been dealt with. We've been helped in this way or the other. And also just, waking up in the morning and knowing that you're going to do something that you do not have to stress about. Journalism is something that I can say that you do not have to stress about. It's something that comes easy. You'd wake up in the morning. You already know what you're going to, do. You already know what you would want to work on. Like I said, I think every other profession has got its own challenges, but you can go past the challenges and, you can thrive. Journalism is very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yes, it is. The highlight of it all,
I was going to come
to
the best moment.
Yes, the best moment for me was when we were at a family function and my mom went, "Oh, have you met my daughter, the journalist?" I'm like, "Oh my God, she's warming up." And then she was like, "You won't study journalism." And then she goes, that is the highlight for me. I was like, okay, so you're accepting that my job is significant. Yes.
You're a family star, aren't you?
Yes.
Wow. And what highlights would you share with us? The best moments.
The best moment for me is actually the time that my father was sick at Kitwe Teaching Hospital, and
Tamara, you're confusing me. Dad was sick. Best moment.
Let me finish. Let me finish. That's not the best part. He was sick and was not attended to the way that he was supposed to be attended to. And at that time, we had Dr. Dube as the provincial health director. And all he needed was just, something simple. Well, he needed blood transfusion. And then we donated the blood and there was no one to attend to him. And, his health was just looking worse. But I just made one phone call and Dad had all the nurses he needed. He had all the doctors he needed. He was attended to. And before he even died, he said, "You know what? I'm very proud of you. This is a very emotional moment for me." But yeah, he said, "I'm very proud of you. You have done your best to ensure that even in my state, these people do look after me." So for me, despite him being gone, may so rest in peace, I think he died being proud of me. And I had to make just one phone call for everything else to fall into place. Yeah,
it's an amazing story. Sorry about your dad, but I think the story is quite amazing. So that's the power of journalism, because you can influence things, you can influence society, and you can influence the future. Now, for both of you, what does journalism look like to you in the next 5 years? You can relate it as personal space, and also from a general space as the journalism environment.
For me, the journalism environment in the next 5 years would have evolved And I think the challenge is for us, especially those of us in the traditional media, for us to remain relevant. We need to move with the times. We need to evolve as well. If we keep holding on to the things that we used to do in the past, no, if you Mbama stories, it would be very bad. So for me, it would have evolved, and in the wake of digitalization, we just need to move with the times.
And Tamara?
I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I think we need to move with the times and be on our toes, because otherwise our profession is even threatened. You'll find that a lot of times these days, you not listen to you not wait to listen to the news just one time. You would listen to the news that would have already broken out at 9, and then you come and listen to it at 18 or 19 hours. So we have to really be on our toes and move with time, because if we have to wait, especially us who are working in the traditional media, like she's saying, if we have to wait for our main bulletin to break some news or what, we may be irrelevant in society. They'll say, no, Radio Chimwemwe brings news that has already passed, when it happened just in the afternoon. So maybe if we go the digital way, as the world is moving as well, we may actually be catching up with our audience, those that can wait up to 18 and those that can, be reached even before that time.
Boy, sorry.
Yeah,
I just
go
wanted
on, go on, just
to add a thought
Yeah.
in the wake of how I envision.
Yep.
For female journalists, I think going further, it will be a little better, because now we have several CSOs and those working in the media space to try and improve the environment for female journalists, advocating for the need for media institutions to come up with certain policies, certain guidelines, trying to build a network of support for female journalists. So looking forward, I think it looks bright.
Okay, so journalism for females would not die in the next 5 years.
No, it won't.
No.
You reckon?
Not
It
even
won't.
Not even in 10 years.
Okay, I see. Right. We're getting closer to the end of our discussion today. I want to find out from you, on a daily basis, you wake up in the morning, what is it that you look forward to?
When we wake up in the morning, I look forward to change and seeing that I drive that change. I think for me, going for work is a joyous moment for me every day. Yes, I face challenges when executing my duties, but it's still a joyous moment. So I look forward to
Making a difference. Yeah, I think I look forward to making a difference every day and every time. And of course, in the position that I'm holding, I really want to even invest more in ensuring that the less vulnerable are actually heard, the less vulnerable are given a voice, even in the way that I'm tailoring the programs. It's because I want to fill in the gap that has been there, and if I know that if I fill in that gap, I'm going to drive a change in society. So I wake up every day identifying something that I would want to change. I fill up a gap before I knock off from work. So every day I have a checklist to ensure that if I done this, if I done that, and of course satisfaction at the end of the day.
Yeah, fulfillment.
If that is achieved.
Well, Justina and Tamara, thank you so much for sparing time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. You've shared very important insights in your careers, and I think the challenges that you have shared could be shared by so many female journalists out there, and I think you are speaking on their behalf. So thank you so much for your determination, your courage and enthusiasm, and also your positivity about this noble profession.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
My name is Boyd KAIMBI CHIBALE. Until next time, God bless.
Hey, you're missing out. Tune in to Culture Radio 105.7 FM, a culture of good radio. Culture Radio.